Hey Blue Devils, welcome back to World Changer 101. I'm Renaya Bennett and today we have Connie Lee, who is a chef. Hi Connie, thank you for being here with us today. Let's start with the questions. First, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I have been, my family has had restaurants since I was 6. And we're presenting me as a chef right now, but I actually don't chef anymore. I'm a director of operations for the Garden Table. But I've been cooking for, 30 plus years. And I think that's what you're more interested in is the chefing part of it, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So, what was it like working in a restaurant growing up?
It was fun. It taught me a lot of work ethics. It also, it was fun, and then it wasn't because it's you're working when you're little. I started We had Chinese restaurants growing up. My family heritage is from China. And the first thing I remember working in a restaurant is picking the poop out of the shrimp with a toothpick at 6, guys. Like, that's really young to sit in the back and like pick poop out of shrimp. But that's what it is. But it's also great because you have a lot of family time together.
Yeah. Did you always know that you were going to grow up to be a chef?
Not really. I went to IU where I met Michelle, and my first major was pre-med. And those classes, if you guys are thinking about that, those classes all start at 8. I think that's how they filter out people who are serious. And I was, guess, not serious enough. And then I went to business. I did business for a little bit and really disliked that. And then I went to business is just cutthroat, and that's just not part of my DNA, I don't think. And then I was a comparative literature major, and I think that's when I was just like, which is great, I loved it, but it doesn't really set you up for the real world out there. So I think when that happened, I decided, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll continue the family business and have fun at school and learn a lot.
What's your signature dish?
I don't have a signature dish. What I like to cook right now is whatever my mom is making at the time. She is unbelievable. I think many people's moms are the best cook that they know possible, and my mom is that. So she loves making dumplings. She hand rolls the wrappers, everything. She makes like 3 or 4 different fillings and we'll just stand around. So I think dumplings for me, why I like it and why I would call it my signature dish, is the dish that makes me feel good about myself, the dish I that brings the family feel to it and things like that. So that's what's tasty. I'm actually really, really good at making sushi because my family had a sushi restaurant for almost 25 or over 25 years. So, and I did that for 10 to 15 years. I don't even know. I haven't been counting.
What is your favorite and least favorite dish to prepare?
I think we'll go back to sushi. My least favorite is sushi because it might seem easy, like you're just doing raw things and things like that, but the prep time on sushi takes hours. It takes hours to do, and it's just constant prepping because it relies on freshness. That's all it is. So it's just always working. There's really no stop time. You have a 5 minutes where there's no tickets, then you're cutting cucumbers for the next day because cucumbers sounds easy, but it actually takes about 3 hours to get sushi quality, or at least our quality cucumbers for the rolls and things like that. So all of them kind of roll together, guys.
What are three kitchen tools that you can't live without?
I thought about this a lot. I'm not a gadgets person. A good pan, a stainless steel pan, or a cast iron. Cast iron will become your nonstick. It holds heat really, really well. So any good pan. I don't love the nonstick because there have been studies that the nonstick stuff comes off and it's not good for your body. But it's actually so easy to make eggs with. So like,
Yeah.
don't scratch it, guys. Don't scratch the nonsticks. And then you have to have a sharp knife. You can have a $5 pardon. You can have a $5 knife, but as long as it's sharp, you can do just about anything you need in the kitchen for it. And then my third one, which is, I don't know if you guys know about, is a really good spoon. Like a nice, like big dinner type spoon, not like a teaspoon or anything like that, bigger than a tablespoon, but like a dinner, like serving spoon. I worked in some nicer restaurants in San Francisco, when I went to culinary school out there. And then that was like, you can use it to flip, you can use it to turn, you can use it to mix, anything. Like, sounds so basic, guys, but if you just have those 3 things, you can cook.
So we know that you and Miss Shill are good friends. So how did you two meet?
Miss Shill is amazing. She didn't love me at first. We met at a place called McCree's Deli in Bloomington. I don't think it's around anymore. At least our iteration is not around anymore. She was one of like 2 females in the kitchen, and the kitchen work generally is not dominated by men. And I think when she first saw me, she's like, "Who's this Connie Lee?" Like it's hilarious. We tell this story all the time. And then because she's protective of her people. And then like the first weekend I showed up and I did well, and she's like, okay, she can be my friend. So that's how Michelle and I met.
That's a funny story.
It's great.
What other hobbies do you enjoy besides cooking?
Hobbies, I really love sports. So I still, at 46 years old, play volleyball every week. So I enjoy doing that. And then just this season, I got Pacer tickets, season tickets. So I'm like, that's kind of what's taking up a lot of my time. Cooking sometimes, or right now I'm just too tired. When you get to this age, you'll understand you're just tired all the time. But I still enjoy cooking. I'm not super creative, but I love like reproducing what people do and putting my spin on it. So that's a different type of creativity. So those are things. I think and then honestly, family time right now is the most important thing to me.
Were you ever interested in live reality cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen or Chopped growing up? And would you ever like to have your own cooking show?
I think I would not be good at cooking shows, to be honest. I was interested. My favorite cooking show is Top Chef. Very, very solid chefs on there. Like, they do stuff that I can't do. I'm pretty picky, or when I watch things, because I'm like, if I can do it, if they can't do it better than me, then I just can't watch it. So Top Chef, everyone's better than me, and I'm like, this is fun to watch, and I keep learning, right? I want to keep learning. Just even wasting my time watching TV, I want to keep learning. And no, I don't think so. I'm not camera ready.
Have you ever met any famous chefs?
I haven't. I've been lucky enough to eat at some really nice restaurants in my life, and you'll go meet them. The most famous right now is one of the best chefs in the world, and I keep up with her a little bit, is in San Francisco. It's Dominique Crenn. You guys should look her up. She's innovative. She's sustainable, all these things. She's absolutely amazing. And I ate there once. It was my friend. I was visiting my friends back there, and then they took me there, and it was just amazing. She took us a tour of her kitchen, talked to us for like 30 minutes. So that was one of my best chef one-on-one experience, or 3-on-1 experiences.
What do you think about chef celebrities like Gordon Ramsay?
I actually really like Gordon Ramsay. I think even though he has talent, he really does. If you watch him cook, he's no wasted movements. Those are things that I look for, is like wasted movements. Efficiency is the best thing in the kitchen, just because you have to move fast. And food, you go over 15 seconds, your scallop is going to be overcooked. I really enjoyed Gordon Ramsay. There's some celebrity chefs I don't have put too high of value on them, because they're just celebrity chefs. But everyone brings their own quirk and bring their own value to things. So I'm not going to tell you who, but if you enjoy them, that's the value they bring.
Do you have any chefs that you look up to?
There's another really expensive restaurant in New York called 11 Madison Park. Daniel Hume. He has gone all vegan. For each person's like $200, $300, $400 to eat there. I haven't gone there, but he has gone totally vegan, vegan or vegetarian. I can't remember which one. All sustainable, but it's just better. I love meat. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love protein, meat of any kind, but that's the way cooking should go soon because of the world and how we've treated the planet, you know? So look him up too. They're doing really innovative things, but they are cooking for the fabulously wealthy, so they can do that, you know? So other places, I don't expect them to. It's just too expensive too. But he's really cool though.
Have you ever cooked for a celebrity?
This is a fun one. When I was after culinary school, I worked a couple years at a restaurant, and Hugh Jackman came in. This was when he was massive. Do you guys even know him? Okay, I got very excited. I don't even know if you guys know him. He's Wolverine. He came in, and I didn't get to meet him or anything, so I cooked for him. And then at my family's restaurant, since we were located downtown Indianapolis, Justin Timberlake came in at one point when he was in NSYNC. There's a lot of big names. I think Michelle probably remembers more than I do. Like the celebrities that came in. I think Jerry Seinfeld came in at one point too. A lot of sports people that I don't know. Reggie Miller was a regular of ours. He gave my mom tickets to his suite for every game for like 3 years straight because he just loved my mom, and my grandpa went to every game for like 3 years. So that was great. Cool. Yeah, Reggie's the best.
Can you tell us about your current position and what are the pros and cons of this position?
Yeah, so I'm the director of operations of Garden Table. We're a specifically brunch spot. We have 3 locations. The pros of it is I actually don't have to cook all the time. I am getting older. It's hard on your body. Cooking is really hard on your body, and you have to work. You don't have to, like you should. Everyone should put limits on how much they work and stuff. But I was on my feet for, 10 hours a day sometimes when I was cooking, and it's actively working. That's a pro of it, but that's also my con too. I have chefs that I can tell them what to do or things or I don't tell them, but I can suggest things, but I don't have full control over the food, which is the con to me, and I don't get to play in that field that I love.
What are some weird cooking facts that we could learn about?
Weird cooking facts. I didn't get to think about this one too much. Weird cooking facts. You need to brown your food, right? Everyone, it's the Maillard effect. It brings a little bit of sweetness. It's for presentation. So anything you cook, get it kind of dry. If you don't get it dry, I'm patting because you have to pat it dry with like a paper towel. Don't do a colored paper, just use white paper towel, and then pat it dry, season it, and then you put it in a hot pan and you get that beautiful brown. But that's called the Maillard effect, and that brings so much flavor to your food, just that little bit of sweetness. That's not weird, but it's just a tip. It's a pro tip.
Do you think it's better to practice cooking at a young age, or is it easier to practice the older you become?
I would, from personal experience, obviously, young age. If you can, just if you like it, go for it. Maybe not give them a knife. You guys are old enough to have knives, but like if you're talking, like I didn't get a knife at 6. I cut myself at 7 cutting oranges and things like that, pretty badly. I burned myself on scooping soup out of things for carry-out orders and things like that. But I feel like muscle memory is a very important thing in cooking. And if you start learning at a young age, I don't think I'll ever not know how to cut vegetables. I don't even have to look at it. I can just cut and know how thick I'm doing it. And that's only because I've been doing it for 40 years, Yeah. Yeah.
In your time becoming a professional chef, what are some things you would have done in the process to make your career easier?
So, like I mentioned before, I went to culinary school. I don't think the return on investment, the ROI on that was great. I wouldn't give it up just because of the people I met, but that was so expensive. I finally paid it off. Guys, I'm almost 50 and I finally paid off my student loans. So it was just so expensive. I think that was a hindrance to, if you start thinking about money and having to, have these thousands of dollars in payments a month, it's really hard to do what you're passionate about. So I think I would have been smarter with that. Like I probably would have gone into the field and just got real world experience rather than culinary school. But I met some amazing people there that are executive chef, private chefs now.
What's your favorite memory growing up in the kitchen?
Favorite memory growing up is, I think, just in the kitchen. It's never the restaurant, or not never, but just the family time. I remember making things with my grandma and my grandpa. I think those are, it's just become a core memory for me. And then it just shows the love. We don't, my culture is not how we show love is by feeding people. And I just realized that. And now I look back on all those and I'm like, no, they didn't tell me they loved me, but it's because we just don't talk like that. My whole family, we don't talk like that. We barely hug each other. But they fed me all the time. And if you ever go into an Asian household and they give you personally cut fruit, that means they really like you.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to aspiring chefs?
It's hard. It's really hard. And you have to put work into it. But if I were to go back now, I would say don't know who you are. Don't let them overwork you. I think that was something that during my time was you wouldn't clock in and you'd work for like an hour or two. Free. Like just giving people that, and we shouldn't have to do that. I say know your value, know who you are, but when you are on the clock, work really, really hard, and you can move up quickly. And that's the way I moved up quickly, and constantly learning. If you watching those shows teaches you a lot, all the cooking shows, they teach you so much. And take notes and practice. And you don't have to have a beautiful piece of, ribeye marbled steak. You can do stuff with flour and water and eggs and do brilliant things, and it won't have to be expensive. It's just a lot of practice and keep learning, but also know your value and do not get taken advantage of, which most people in my generation worked probably thousands and thousands of hours without getting paid. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
No.
Well, that's all the time we have for today for World Changing 101. We thank Ms. Lee for joining us today. It was very fun talking to you. We're very happy that you took time out of your day to come speak with us. Shortridge students, thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.